All praise and great glory to the mighty Most High, the existing one and only one of our fathers. Shalom, Israel. I pray that everyone had a blessed Sabbath. This is my earthquake dream I had here recently, as promised. Shout out to Sister Shebrew. Shout out to Brother Omar Morrison. Shout out to Comley. Shout out to the whole house of Israel. As I stated in my last video, and I wanted to make an open apology for mispronouncing scripture. I humbly apologize to all my viewers. My eyes are still getting back to the way they're supposed to be. All praise to the mighty Most High. I am again able to read scripture, and I love the Psalms. Anyway, so I was asleep, and like I said before, I asked the Most High to communicate with me again. As a child, I used to lay in bed and talk to the Most High, and I still do as a mature man. And it is awesome that at times, not every time, but there are times when I get this warm, fuzzy feeling. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. And I know that it's coming from the Creator. It's comfort. It's love. It's communication to continue on, my child, and keep seeking my wisdom. Keep seeking righteousness. Keep seeking forgiveness. There's too many people out there that think that they are a fucking victim. When our nation, Israel, broke the holy covenant of that which has taken care of us so good, He remembered us after 430 years and led us out with an outstretched mighty hand out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and none of our clothes got tore or frayed away. And He fed us with manna. The Most High took good care of our ancestors. Well, Brother Deshaun, I wasn't there visiting to the iniquity of the children of those that hate me. The third and the fourth generation. See, it is not as important as we think, Israel, to be understood. If we want to make it out of here alive and not be amongst the 2/3, we have to understand that there is a power, one power, that can only protect us and do us good, because that's what He wants to do. But we have to obey. I've learned a lot in this past year. And in my heart, it has been reiterated to me that feelings are not facts. Anyway, enough of my rant. Revelation 6:12 through 14. And I beheld, when He had opened the sixth seal, And lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. And as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Verse 14, and the heaven departed as a scroll, as it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. So in my dream, the sun was coming up, and my chickens had already been acting weird. And I noticed this in my dream. And I had a very eerie feeling that something was about to happen. Look, we already know that our governments are not working for us. And that's across the board. Okay, there were 10 nations that brought down Jerusalem in 70 AD. And those nations are still in full effect and in all power as far as they think they are. They have been changing the weather, doing all kinds of crooked things to keep their wicked kingdom. But what did the Most High say in Jeremiah 30 and 10? Therefore fear not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Most High, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed, from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet. I love that part. Because we're crying out to him to redeem us. Isn't that right, sons of Jacob? And none shall make him afraid. That don't sound like those big-eared buffoons with the long noses and the little jerry curls on the side of their heads, over there pretending to be us. When Israel, true Israel, is returned back to her land, they shall be quiet, and none shall be afraid. All praise to the mighty Most High. Continuing on. So, I kept noticing that my chickens were acting weird. They were jumping out of the fence, and I had to go out the fence to round them up. And I'm like, what is going on with these chickens? And they're just running around and cackling and all kinds of stuff. The females weren't laying any eggs. My rooster looked very discombobulated, which is out of character for him. But I continued on my day out here, working by the sweat of my brow and doing what I need to do. And I checked out some things on YouTube and meditated in motion. Meditation in motion. I get a hold of a scripture daily in the morning. So I get up around, I don't know, depending on what type of the year, before the sun is up, around between 5 and 4:30. I go about my day, but I get scripture and I meditate on them. It was hard for me to focus throughout my day. And I knew something was abreast. We are in the sixth seal, Israel. And we are waiting on this massive earthquake when the Most High will throw the deceiver down to the earth. As it states in Revelation 6:12 through 14, there will be an earthquake. There will be a massive earthquake. So I did everything, the chickens went into their coop like they were supposed to. And in my dream, Gigi was here. But, I had to find another place for her to go. Real talk, she was killing my livestock. She was killing my chickens. And, yes, I'm very saddened by that. Because I love that dog. And I know that a lot of you have been asking about her. But yeah, once they start killing livestock, it's time to consider another place. And some girl has her, and she, from what I understand, someone told me that there's a girl that walks her regularly, a Hispanic girl, in some apartments. But so I did all my work throughout the day, and tending to my garden. An update on that coming up soon. Sorry, son of Rap the News. Those tomatoes that you sent me did not make it. A lot of stuff didn't. But anyway, I'll stay focused. So I went and got cleaned up at night after the chickens were back in their coop. It's funny how they, frolic all through the yard, and then they at night they know where to go. So I secured them in and came back inside, had a good meal. Rabbit food, of course. Not all, but a lot of it. And I read some more scripture, then I laid me down to sleep. I don't know exactly what time in the morning it was, but it was early. I had a strange feeling, like I felt like something was pushing my bed out from under me. And I sat up in my bed, and to my horror, everything in here started falling down. And this camper trailer fell over to its right side. And I ate my shelves and everything. And about 30 years ago, when I was in the military, I lived through an earthquake. My old duty station, 29 Palms, was on the San Andreas Fault. So there were times when we had earthquakes. And I remember getting up out of bed. I was living in base housing with my ex-wife, and I told her, get outside. She had no idea what an earthquake was. They just don't have those where she came from. So I grabbed her by the hand and ran her outside, and there was a neighbor across the street. I don't know what he was doing at 12 o'clock in the morning, taking a bath, but he was dressed in nothing but suds. It was a pretty good sized earthquake. So back to my dream, I'm sitting, laying on my face, and an earthquake has a certain sound that's different from a tornado and anything else. It's very eerie. And all I could think of was, is this an earthquake? And it started again. And to my horror, as this earthquake started up, it got rougher and rougher. It got so rough, I was bouncing around like a fly inside of a soda can that somebody was shaking up. The power of the mighty Most High is immense. We have no idea, because he He has not shown his face. He's turned his face away from us for, as he says, for a little while. But it seems as an eternity, does it not? But he's turning his face back to us. And as fearful as I was in the beginning of this earthquake, I ain't gonna lie, I continue to be fearful, even though there was a voice inside of me. It was almost coming from my heart and my head, it felt like at the same time. I could feel this voice saying, "Fear not. Fear not, son of Jacob. Have faith." And as I heard this voice, I was being shaken. This whole land, everything was being shaken so violently that I was trying to keep my teeth together so I didn't bite my tongue again. I bit my tongue almost in half, it felt like, and I could feel the blood gushing out of my mouth. And I bit it again, and the voice said again, "Fear not, son of Jacob." And I was praying in my mind to be spared and for forgiveness for all the stupid shit that I've done. And as I was praying, this earthquake got more and more violent. I could hear the ground splitting open outside around me. And I could hear people yelling. But the people were yelling only for a little bit, and then they stopped yelling. And this earthquake continued for what seemed to be an eternity. And the whole time, I could feel bones breaking as I was being tossed around and slammed into whatever was there. And my tongue, I just kept feeling it as I bit it, because the violent force was so immense that my teeth were chattering. And every time I hit something inside this camper trailer, I felt my body going number and number and number. And eventually, I didn't feel any pain. But I knew that because of the violent shaking, my tongue was probably torn to pieces from my teeth. As I stated, we know that we are in the sixth seal. And it's just a matter of time before the world, look at the world. The world is blaming all of these earthquakes and these tsunamis and all of these hurricanes, which are getting worse, on Mother Nature. When in fact, the world, the whole world, is being reintroduced to a force and a power that is unimaginably working for his people. And lastly, I want to read this. Isaiah 2:11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Most High alone, because he is alone, shall be exalted in that day. Stock up on water. Stock up on canned goods. Make amends. Step out of your shit and make amends to those that you know in your heart you did wrong. It doesn't matter what they did. We have to own up for our own shit, Israel. I cannot stress enough how important that is. Because if we want forgiveness from that fire after that earthquake, we better be willing to do the same. There are no coincidences. And none of us are victims. Our ancestors broke the Holy Covenant so badly that we all have to earn our way back to the greatest love, the greatest and terrible, most devastating force there ever is, ever was, and ever will be. Why? Because it's a lot more to being humble and meek. 2/3 part therein shall be cut off and die. I don't want to be one of them. And I know those on this channel don't want to be either. Israel, and to the stranger that is truly amongst us. If nobody told you that they loved you today, and I mean love, just because we don't put up with other people's shit does not mean we don't love them. And even if we put people off our land because we're not willing to put up with chaos and bullshit, because when you're out here, you work on yourself. You don't turn on those that have welcomed you with open arms. You do the best you can with what you got. And the Most High is only taking the humble and the meek, and those that can look at their own shit and realize that none of us are perfect, but we are striving for mercy and protection, because it's about to get fucking real. If nobody told you that they loved you today, Brother Deshaun would like to say that I love each and every one of you. Shalom.